Hello everyone and welcome back to Jack's Labs. Today we're going to be doing the pie chemistry lab, but first let's go over some key terms and vocabulary. The first term we're going to be going over is the Maillard reaction. This is the chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars to give brown food its distinctive flavor. The second term that we will be going over and the final term is emulsifier. This is a substance that stabilizes an emulsion, specifically a food additive used to stabilize processed foods. Now that we've gone over the key terms of vocabulary, let's get into the procedures of the lab. The independent variable of the lab is the change in the liquid and crust. The dependent variable is the taste and texture of the apple pie. There's no control, and the constants are all ingredients and amount of ingredients, bake temperature and time baked, order in which ingredients are added, and then the environment. First, let's gather the proper materials, which are granulated sugar, brown sugar, unsalted butter, an egg, all-purpose flour, salt, applesauce, 6 tart apples, I used Granny Smith, lemon juice, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground nutmeg, a mixing bowl, utensils to mix with, measuring tools, pie dishes, and then sharp knives. The first step is we're going to create our pie crust. So we're going to use a food processor to mix 1 1/2 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Next, let's add 2 sticks of unsalted butter cut into 1/4 inch slices into the food processor and mix thoroughly. Then you're going to add the remaining 1 cup of flour to the processor, process it, and then empty the contents into a medium bowl. Next, let's add our liquid, which is going to be a 1/2 cup of applesauce, and start mixing it into the mixture until it starts clumping. Take half the mixture, that's now our crust, and put it into one of the pie crust dishes and move it around to make it look like a crust, and then take the remaining half and make it a disc out of dough. And we're going to put these in the fridge for at least 24 hours. So now onto the pie filling. We're going to start with a bowl of 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. So that's all our dry ingredients. And then we're going to chop up some apples. We use Granny Smith, make them thinly sliced, and add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Once we have the apples with the lemon juice, we're going to add our dry mixture in, and we're going to toss the apples to make sure the apples get evenly coated with the dry mixture. You're going to take out the pie crust from the previous day out of the fridge, and you're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees because we're about to cook our pie. You're going to take the apples that are now coated and evenly spread them in the pie crust, and then we're going to take the disc of dough and we're going to place it over all of our apples. You can cut slits in the top of the pie to let it air, and then we're going to take an egg, whisk it until it's foaming white, and then brush it on the top of the crust. And if you want to, you can sprinkle some more granulated sugar or brown sugar on the top of the pie to give it a little bit more flavor. So we're done creating our pie, so let's cook it. We're going to take some tin foil and put it over the top of the pie loosely and place it in the oven that's 375 degrees for 25 minutes. Then after the 25 minutes is up, we're going to take off the tin foil and cook it for an additional 20 to 25 minutes or until the crust is golden brown. That's it. That is the entire creation of the pie, except with our experiment, we're going to do those same steps. It's instead of using applesauce, we're going to use water, and we're going to see how that affects the taste, texture, and smell of our pie. Thank you guys for watching this lab. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next lab.